Hello everyone, welcome to Stocker Team, the Investors channel. On this episode, we'll be talking about Anthropic AI IPO. Yes, you heard me right. Anthropic AI, one of the major ChatGPT competitor or LLM maker in the AI world, will be going on IPO as early as 2026 or early next year. This will be a major milestone and a groundbreaking event, or even a company that will be listing on the US stock market. What exactly is this IPO all about? Is this something you should be looking up to? Yes, IPO might be risky, might be very volatile. But why exactly is Anthropic going on an IPO ahead of OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT, which is the biggest LLM or the chatbot maker in the market in the AI value chain? Let's look at this and what exactly should you expect as an investor once this IPO actually goes live. Come with me. So this video is brought to you by stockerteam.com, which is the platform for retail investors to actually get the data, the analysis, the guidance, and a whole lot of insights on how you can actually build a sustainable and long-term portfolio. So the news about Anthropic AI going on IPO broke actually in the early hours of today, the 3rd of December 2025. Anthropic is going on this IPO, which will actually perhaps value the company at around $300 billion. So as an investor, what exactly should you be expecting from Anthropic? What exactly is Anthropic in the first place? What is their place in the AI ecosystem, and why exactly should you be looking forward to this IPO? I will be breaking down everything as we go ahead. So let's jump right into the main analysis. So finally, Anthropic has actually tipped the law firm Wilson Sonsini to actually begin the filing for an IPO as early as 2026. Like I said, the company actually is looking forward to raising capital in the public market, which will actually allow Anthropic to gain leverage and also boost its ability to actually do future acquisition, according to Reuters report. So Anthropic is not just coming to the market to basically just take money from investors and pour it into the business. They are also looking at buying other businesses in the IPO, maybe vertical AI vertical that are actually maybe smaller LLMs, or a few other companies that can actually allow the company to build more products. So if you look at what the likes of ChatGPT maker OpenAI is doing, they already have online shopping. They have a whole lot of application that can now run on ChatGPT and a whole lot of consumer products that they are also looking to. So I expect even with the videos you can see the robot business, the likes of Anthropic might actually want to go into that kind of business with this IPO. Another thing that we should also look at about this IPO is the valuation, which in the private market as we speak, Anthropic is valued at about $300 billion. This might not necessarily mean Anthropic is able to list on using this valuation, because private market valuation is not put to so much scrutiny like public market. Public market takes into consideration the companies that are already in the market, how they're performing, what the market actually see as a fair valuation from not just what has been poured into the business, but from the real numbers behind the numbers in terms of the revenue, in terms of the average revenue run rate, if you actually compare that to the peers. Also, the efficiency of the business. A whole lot of these LLM companies, such as Anthropic, OpenAI, such as Perplexity, or even Mistral AI, many of these companies are not necessarily going to be profitable, not even in the next 3 to 4 years. So it could be a bit very, very difficult for Anthropic to actually list on this valuation. We as Stocker Team, we already have an idea of the valuation that we are looking at, and that might not necessarily be exactly what Anthropic is actually touting in the private market. So at the moment, Anthropic has over 300,000 enterprise customers. So part of the strength of Anthropic is that they have more customers in the private and also the enterprise use, or business use cases for their LLM, for their chatbot, compared to ChatGPT that has a mixture of both private or enterprise use and also consumer use of their chatbot, which ChatGPT is well known for. So in the real sense, what exactly is Anthropic? Because before we go to comparison of this company and what investors should actually expect, we need to actually look at the company behind this IPO, so that you don't necessarily have a wrong idea of what to expect. So this company was founded in 2021, not quite long, about 5 years in the making. It was launched by former employees of OpenAI, so you could actually see that OpenAI kind of feel from how the company is actually playing. The leadership, siblings Daria Amodel and Daniela Amodel, who are both presidents of the business. The company actually has a public benefit corporation structure, which is more or less not necessarily just for profit making. It balances profit making with the mission to actually make AI to be safe, beneficial, and also long term for the good of humanity. The major selling point, which Anthropic has been hammering on, is that they actually have that mission to be a very safe or safety driven and responsible use of AI. They actually emphasize this because the frontier models, AI systems that they want to develop has to be reliable, interpretable, and also steerable, according to what the company is saying. This is their own words anyway. The major product, which they are well known for, is the Claude AI, which has been very, very good in terms of some of the discussions we've had with a whole lot of programmers who actually use Claude to actually do a lot of coding. Is also very, very useful in robotics, automation, and also enterprise use case in ERP, such as even Palantir as Claude in the artificial intelligence platform as one of the LLM options to actually build, orchestrate, and also deploy AI on an enterprise level to make real-time decision. So in terms of the funding that this business has, actually gotten, maybe well over 20 to 30 billion dollars. But the valuation now brings to much question: what exactly is this IPO going to look like? If they are listing maybe roughly in the region of about 150 to 200 billion, what exactly should you be expecting? How this IPO is going to perform? Of course, we are going to compare this IPO with some other, maybe not exactly the same IPO, because this will be the first pure play LLM company that will actually be listing in the public market for the first time. So let's look at the charts. Let's look at maybe a very, very maybe similar company that's listed in AI, software driven, or even SaaS business, software as a service business, and how they've performed and why this valuation might make sense or it doesn't necessarily make sense. Come with me. So one of the major difficulty in actually valuing Anthropic properly, or having an idea of what Anthropic is likely to list, the valuation they're actually going to list with, is looking at the kind of company that actually compare directly to Anthropic. So, when you want to actually make the best judgment in terms of valuation, you actually need to compare, apple with apple or oranges with oranges. But in this sense, we more or less have an indirect competitor or an indirect comparison, which perhaps gives us a better idea. So currently, Palantir Technologies, that is, enterprise software, AI software, AI operating system maker and provider, and data integration, data analytics platform. We have Snowflakes, which is more of a data lake, but is a pure play software business, and maybe a very very small and very very speculative kind of company in that sense as well. Data analytics and also artificial intelligence, machine learning business, which is Big Bear AI. So if you look at these three companies, they actually give us a fair idea of how this IPO might actually play. So Palantir at the top end is actually valued at about 406 billion as at today, the 3rd of December 2025. However, Palantir has been said to be overvalued, price to perfection and all that. So you wouldn't want to necessarily compare Anthropic AI listing with Palantir, because number one, Palantir has been able to go through the rough times. The company is profitable for more than almost 2 years now in the making. The likes of Snowflakes on the midpoint is valued, in the region of 200 and something billion dollars, but Snowflakes hasn't really had it good. As a matter of fact, if you trend back to the all-time chart, you could actually see that Snowflakes investors haven't necessarily made so much money. So if you look at Snowflakes itself, the business has really lost so much of its valuation, and the current market now says about $87 billion. So if Anthropic is going to list in the market, despite the fact that we have so much negativity around AI bubble, we have so much question about whether a lot of AI companies are going to be profitable, or we are going to have maybe models that would not necessarily need so much GPUs or compute, and they will still do much more better. So we don't necessarily see Anthropic listing anything above $200 billion. Now, as an investor, should you be buying this IPO immediately, or should you actually be be staying on the sidelines? I'm going to actually put some things into perspective. So IPOs generally are not necessarily very, very sound investment decision to make when the company is just listing, or the first day or the first few months. You actually want to give it some time. You want to actually see the veil being taken off. You want to actually see the balance sheet of the business, at least perhaps for the first 2 quarters after post IPO period. That's because before the IPO, yes, the company actually released a balance sheet, and you actually see what the business is doing, but you don't necessarily see so many other things that is still going to happen. Market reaction to the IPO, some other competition coming into the market as well, thereby diluting investors' exposure to the sector or to the category. You also have a whole lot of information that might actually come after the IPO. So you also want to wait. You also want to see the lockup period. The lockup period basically is when investors who are early investors are allowed to sell some of their shares or all of their shares. So you don't necessarily want to jump in when a company is just listing. You actually want to see what the company is up to. You want to see the balance sheet. You want to see maybe a few quarters more of results, and that's why we started StockAteam.com, for retail investors to actually make a data-driven, data-backed decision that can actually allow you to build long-term and sustainable portfolios. So what do you think about Anthropic's AI's planned IPO for next year? Is this something you still want to get into, or is this something you are not too sure about, or you want to get much more idea, much more insight into how to value these companies? You can actually join us on StockAteam.com. You can become a premium member, where you get access to not just the news that you can read anywhere, but insights driven briefing, stock picks, a whole lot of analysis that can actually take your investing and portfolio building to the next level. I'll see you in the next one. Let's see what Anthropic has to have. Take care and bye-bye.